Deep within the heart of the countryside lay a place shrouded in mystery and fear. This was no ordinary forest. It was a realm where the natural and supernatural intertwined, creating an atmosphere thick with tension and unease. The locals spoke of it in hushed tones, their voices tinged with a mix of awe and trepidation. They knew better than to venture too close, especially as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the land in an eerie twilight. The Whispering Woods, they called it, a name whispered with reverence and dread. Legends told of spirits that roamed the forest, their whispers carried by the wind, chilling the bones of anyone who dared to listen. It was said that the trees themselves were alive, their roots digging deep into the earth, drawing upon ancient dark energies. The forest was a living entity, aware and watchful, guarding its secrets jealously. Towering trees clawed at the sky, their branches gnarled and twisted like skeletal fingers. Each tree seemed to have a story etched into its bark, tales of sorrow, loss, and unfulfilled desires. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, a reminder of the forest's age and the countless lives it had witnessed. The deeper one ventured, the more oppressive the atmosphere became, as if the forest itself was closing in, urging intruders to turn back. Sunlight struggled to penetrate the dense canopy, casting long, eerie shadows that danced menacingly in the faint breeze. The interplay of light and shadow created illusions, making it difficult to distinguish reality from imagination. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig seemed amplified, echoing through the silence like a warning. It was a place where time stood still, where the past and present coexisted, and where the boundary between the living and the dead was perilously thin. Those who dared to enter the Whispering Woods often found themselves changed, their minds haunted by the whispers of the forest long after they had left its shadowy embrace. Emily, an adventurous young woman, found herself drawn to the allure of the unknown. She had always been captivated by the mysteries that lay beyond the beaten path, the stories of hidden trails and secret places that few dared to explore. Her friends often warned her about the dangers of venturing into uncharted territories, but Emily's curiosity always got the better of her. She believed that the greatest experiences lay just beyond the horizon, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to seek them out. Ignoring local warnings and tales of terror, she decided to explore the woods. The townsfolk spoke of strange occurrences and eerie sounds that emanated from the forest, but Emily dismissed these as mere superstitions. She was determined to uncover the truth for herself, to see with her own eyes what lay hidden beneath the dense canopy of trees. As she approached the forest entrance, she noticed several warning signs posted along the path, cautioning hikers to stay away. But Emily, with her adventurous spirit, paid them no heed. Armed with a compass and a backpack filled with supplies, Emily entered the woods. She had prepared meticulously for this journey, packing everything she thought she might need: a map, a flashlight, extra batteries, food, water, and a first aid kit. She felt confident and ready for whatever challenges might come her way. The forest was dense and dark, the tall trees blocking out much of the sunlight, creating an almost twilight-like atmosphere even in the middle of the day. Emily's heart raced with excitement as she ventured deeper into the unknown. The air grew heavy, the silence broken only by the crunching of leaves beneath her feet. As she walked, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. The forest seemed to close in around her, the trees standing like silent sentinels, their branches reaching out like skeletal arms. The path grew narrower and more overgrown, making it difficult to navigate. Emily's excitement began to wane, replaced by a growing sense of unease. She pressed on, determined to find whatever secrets the forest held, but with each step, the feeling of dread grew stronger. The once inviting woods now felt like a labyrinth of shadows, and Emily couldn't help but wonder if she had made a terrible mistake. As Emily ventured deeper, a sense of unease settled over her. She could have sworn she heard whispers, soft and indistinct, carried on the wind. The trees seemed to press in on her, their branches reaching out like grasping claws. Her compass spun erratically, its needle no longer pointing north. Local legend held that the woods were haunted by lost souls. Centuries ago, a group of travellers had met a grisly end within its depths. Their spirits, unable to find peace, were said to roam the woods seeking solace or perhaps revenge. Emily tried to dismiss the stories as mere folklore, but fear gnawed at her resolve. A movement at the edge of her vision made her heart skip a beat. A figure, tall and slender, stood partially hidden behind a tree trunk. It was gone as quickly as it had appeared, leaving Emily to question her sanity. Was she truly alone in these woods, or was something sinister stalking her every move? Section 6. Trapped in the forest. Panic began to set in as Emily realized she was hopelessly lost. The sun was sinking lower in the sky, casting long, ominous shadows. Every path she took seemed to lead her deeper into the heart of the woods. The whispers grew louder now, taunting her, mocking her fear. Section 7. A desperate escape. With a surge of adrenaline, Emily broke into a run, desperate to escape the growing darkness. The forest seemed to close in around her, each shadow a potential threat, each rustle a sign of danger. Her breath came in ragged gasps, the cold night air burning her lungs as she pushed herself to keep moving. She had no clear direction, only the primal urge to flee, to put as much distance as possible between herself and the terror that pursued her. Branches whipped at her face, thorns tore at her clothes, but she didn't dare slow down. The pain was sharp, but it was a distant sensation compared to the overwhelming fear that gripped her heart. She stumbled over roots and rocks, her feet barely finding purchase on the uneven ground. The forest was a maze of obstacles, each one threatening to trip her up, to slow her down, to give her pursuers the chance to catch up. She could hear the sound of her own heart pounding in her ears, a frantic rhythm against the eerie silence of the woods. Every beat was a reminder of her desperation, of the stakes of her flight. Her mind raced with thoughts of what might happen if she were caught, each scenario more terrifying than the last. She tried to focus on the path ahead, to block out the fear, but it was always there, lurking at the edges of her consciousness. Just when her hope began to dwindle, she saw it, a light in the distance. It was faint, barely more than a glimmer, but it was enough to reignite her determination. She fixed her eyes on that light, willing herself to reach it. Each step was a struggle, her muscles screaming in protest. But she couldn't afford to stop. The light represented safety, a chance to escape the nightmare that had engulfed her. She pushed herself harder, driven by the hope that she might just make it out alive. Section 8. Facing the unknown. As she stumbled toward the light, she realized it came from a small, dilapidated cabin. Smoke curled from its chimney, hinting at life within. Gathering her remaining strength, Emily approached cautiously, her hand trembling as she knocked on the weathered door. It creaked open slowly, revealing a figure standing in the shadows. Section 9. The shocking truth. Hello? Emily's voice was a hoarse whisper. The figure stepped into the light and Emily gasped. It was her own reflection, staring back at her from a dusty, cracked mirror. The cabin was empty, abandoned, a cruel mirage in her desperate hour of need.